The true standard for healthy food has never been about whether it's vegan. What really determines if food is healthy is the level of processing. In English, there are two terms related to plant-based diets: vegan diet and plant-based diet. These are completely different concepts, depending on the level of food processing. Nutritionists categorize food into four types. For example, fresh corn boiled and eaten directly is the first type. Corn turned into a condiment like corn paste is the second. Corn baked into cornmeal or tortilla is the third. And deeply processed corn products like corn syrup or corn candy belong to the fourth. Nutritional science suggests that the first three types of food are healthy, while the fourth one is considered highly processed food. So, simply put, eating corn is healthier than eating a corn tortilla, which in turn is better than consuming corn syrup-filled candy. Unprocessed or minimally processed whole foods like fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, and beans are healthy. However, highly processed foods such as plant-based meat alternatives, vegan sausages, or fried plant-based nuggets are junk food. Even if they're technically vegan, chips are technically vegan, but they're still junk food. Even soda can be considered vegan, but that doesn't make it healthy. The key here is the level of processing, not whether the food is vegan or not. So, what exactly defines healthy food? A simple rule of thumb: if you can prepare it yourself in your kitchen, it's generally one of the three categories. Why is it that we often see fries are unhealthy, but potato stew with beef is not? Because fries are made from deep-fried, highly processed potatoes, while the stew is made from whole ingredients like fresh potatoes and meat. If you baked fresh potatoes at home with a little olive oil, that too would be healthy. But frozen fries or fast food fries are highly processed, high in fat, and low in nutrients. Okay, now we come to the second part. Veganism does not equal automatic health. Following a purely plant-based diet and actually staying healthy is much more challenging than it sounds. In this image, I've shown the basic components of a vegan's daily food intake: an equal preparation of fruits, grains, beans, and vegetables, along with some nuts. A lot of these vegetables are deep-colored, such as peppers, carrots, and purple cabbage, while leafy greens make up a smaller part. In fact, vegans end up eating fewer leafy greens compared to omnivores. What you might think of as a vegan meal is not just a salad or mysterious green vegetable juice. A balanced vegan diet requires large amounts of bread, corn, soy, fruits, and deep-colored veggies. Why it is so complicated? It's very simple. If you don't eat meat, you have to find a way to get your nutrients from plants. Meat is naturally rich in protein, so you don't take meat, you have to need tofu, soy milk, quinoa, or hummus to make up for that. Similarly, vitamin B12 is synthesized by bacteria in the stomachs of grazing animals. As omnivores, we typically get our B12 from beef, eggs, and dairy products. Without enough B12, you could face skin paleness, irregular menstruation, or anemia. So, can you get B12 from vegetables? Yes, but you would need to eat large quantities of dark leafy greens, like spinach or kale, which is not always easy to do. This is the tricky part of a healthy vegan diet. Most people don't need supplements if they eat an omnivore diet, but vegans must supplement with things like B12, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, iron, and zinc. That's why veganism is hard to maintain. Even celebrities with personal nutritionists struggle to meet their needs. Would you want to shop at multiple stores for avocados, hummus, flaxseed powder, spinach, kale, tofu, and vitamin D drops every day? Or would you rather just grab a salad, drink some milk, eat an apple, and then tell yourself, I'm vegan, I'm healthy today? Eating vegan isn't just about avoiding meat. If you don't plan and balance your nutrients carefully, you could end up feeling weak and deficient. Okay, now we come to the third part. Is the healthy benefit really from veganism? Vegan proponents may say you're only talking about the difficulty of veganism, but numerous studies show that veganism has healthy benefits like weight loss, lower risk of heart disease, even cancer prevention. Yes, true, there are many studies supporting veganism, but here's a key point. It's not just veganism. Many unconventional diets, like raw food, keto, intermittent fasting, also have studies claiming they are healthier. So, do you feel confused? It's actually simple. These diets are compared to the average person's regular diet, which is often unhealthy to begin with. Consider the typical Western diet: fast food, sugary sodas, fried chicken, pizza. In fact, the obesity rate in the US is around 40%. So, when someone switches from this to a plant-based diet, they will probably feel better, not because veganism is magical, but because their previous diet was so unhealthy. However, if you already eat healthily, forcing yourself to go vegan may just lead to frustration. A study pointed out only healthy plant-based diets lower heart disease risks. If your plant-based diet consists of junk food like fries, white bread, and sweets, it could be just as harmful as a diet full of processed foods. In 2021, another randomized controlled trial concluded that there isn't definitive evidence showing a direct link between veganism and heart health. So, if veganism has any tangible benefit, it's mostly in weight loss. But that doesn't mean it's healthier. In simple terms, if you've been overeating fast food, reducing your intake will likely make you feel healthier. But that doesn't mean the vegan diet itself is a cure-all. The number of women in veganism is much higher than that of men, especially girls who want a good body shape. So now let's talk about the mental health risks of veganism. Many believe that vegans are more likely to develop eating disorders like anorexia, but the real risk lies with semi-vegans, those who try to avoid meat but can't fully commit to a plant-based diet. These individuals often experience inner conflict. They believe eating meat is unethical or unhealthy, but occasionally they can't resist eating it. So every time they eat meat, they feel guilty or disgusted. This cycle can lead to a behavior called external eating, eating not because of hunger, but due to emotional triggers, guilt, or other external pressures. Over time, this can lead to chronic anxiety, either binge eating uncontrollably or starving themselves. The most dangerous behavior is known as hedonic hunger. For instance, a person might feel guilty about eating a steak, so they purposely eat less, telling themselves, "It's okay, I will just be a bit hungry to save the animals." This feeling of moral satisfaction from being hungry can eventually lead to disordered eating and even cause them to feel disgusted by meat. This phenomenon shows us when food choices are driven by emotions and guilt, mental health can be at risk. So, instead of obsessing over to eat meat or not, the key is to find a balance between respecting both your physical and mental health. Also, the message I want to share today isn't to discourage veganism or promote omnivore diets. It's simply to remind you, healthy eating is about low processing, high nutrition, and diversity. Veganism is an option, but it's crucial to understand your nutritional needs and balance your diet. And don't let diet theories create unnecessary anxiety about your body. The most important thing is to find a diet that works for you, that you can stick to, and that makes you feel good, both physically and mentally.